Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the Saturday check-in, and today is June 12th. And I'm going to let you know right off the bat that this is going to be a little bit of a rant. So, I woke up to the most idiotic, ignorant stupidity that Facebook has yet to offer. And you may or may not agree with it. Whatever. Don't care. This is my channel. I'm going to talk about it. So, somebody had posted about teaching sex to our children and all this other bullfuckery. And it started, it's like, and this isn't a meme, infographic, GIF, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's not about homosexuality or heterosexuality. Stop promoting sexuality to our children, period. Let kids be kids. You know, I don't really know anyone who is promoting sexuality to children, and by children, I'm talking about like anyone under the age of 18. More specifically, 12 and under. Because teenagers are in their whole other bracket, and I don't know about you as a teenager, but me as a teenager, I was a whore. I did anything that would want to do me, and above and beyond that, that's exactly where it was. Didn't matter what. You wanted to touch my boy bits. I wanted to touch whatever bits you would let me touch. So, that being said, I replied back to, it's about teaching children in a safe educational environment. I don't know when this became a foreign concept, but you do realize that this was taught in schools all the time until like the 1970s or the 1980s, right? And it was done by the gym teachers. The boys would go with their teachers and the girls would go with their teachers and learn about the anatomy and physiology, STD, and things like that. It's not a comparative study of 1970s Bush versus early 2000s Shaved, or how the plot of Debbie Does Dallas was better than Backdoor Hose 32, and it is kind of about homophobia. How are you going to teach your child about the LGBTQ relationships and issues if you've never been in one or faced them yourself? Maybe your child doesn't feel safe coming out at home or to you or your partner. LGBTQ suicides are in a staggeringly high number, and like it or not, your child may be part of the LGBT community. And honestly, what kid in the history of the universe wants or ever wanted the talk from their parents? And if they did or do, there's really something Oedipus Rex about that. And I'm sure Dr. Freud would have something marvelous to say. Typically, we learn about sex from the exploits of our peers and what misinformation we glean from pornography. We are the only country in the world that makes taboo sex outside of some Middle Eastern countries. In the UK, there's the nightly naked news during prime time, in which the entire news team strips down naked and still presents the news in a professional manner. And in China and Japan, they sell sexual devices and other fetish items in vending machines. What needs to be done is stop placing sexual desire on children, not keeping education from them. So, yeah, I don't know where you lie on that, but seriously, we make sex so taboo, but yet it is all around us. It's in our music. It's in our movies. It's in our poetry, it's in everything. Sex is ingrained in our culture to sometimes an almost obscene amount. But if you yourself don't have the knowledge to pass on to your child, how do you expect to be able to pass on proper knowledge to your child? But if you're doing it in a safe educational environment where they're learning about it with the rest of their peers, it's a little bit different. Now, I'm not saying show Debbie Does Dallas and backdoor hose to a fourth grader, but there's information that you need to teach those children at certain developmental stages of their life. Having worked at several childhood facilities, like early childhood facilities, having a education in early childhood education, and having had a family member own a daycare center, you get what's called the spring fever, where it's show me mine, I'll show you yours. Or, show me mine, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Sorry, tongue twister. And at certain ages, kids become aware that I'm a boy or I'm a girl, you're a boy or a girl. Does your body look like my body? And it is natural. It is a progressive understanding. So, at a what is that? 3 to 7, I think it is. It's been a long time since I've had to use this knowledge, but from 3 to 7, you're going through that exploratory phase where you want to know about your own body. So typically from kindergarten to about 3rd grade, you're doing that whole let me see my own body, let me see your body. And if you don't have that knowledge, like I was saying, how are you going to pass that knowledge on to someone else? How are you going to explain the intricacies of a relationship when you treat your spouse like shit, or they treat you like shit, or you are constantly fighting, or whatever else? We don't have very good role models nowadays. Divorce is at an all-time high, if people are even getting married, or if the parents are even staying in the child's life. With the advent of CPS, kids are getting yanked out of houses left and right. Men are walking out on their children. To some degree, maybe more, maybe lesser, women are walking out on their children. It's no longer a 2-parent, 2.5 child household anymore. It's typically 1 parent and the child, or the child and its siblings. And then the parade of people that the parent brings into the house. Oh, this is your uncle so-and-so, this is your aunt so-and-so, or, that whole dynamic. So kids are seeing that relationships are not valuable anymore. And the relationships that they are seeing is not good relationships. So why not allow this education to take place with people who are trained to do this? I understand that, this is something that should be between a child and its parents, but really, is it? Seriously, how are you going to educate if you don't have the knowledge? There's so much more than take this and go like this and do this until this feels really good and this pretends to feel good. Or if you don't get this metaphor, that's 2 guys bumping, or 2 girls bumping. How are you going to explain the intimacies of those type of relationships if you're not in that type of relationship? So that has just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way today. Outside of all of that, getting off that little tangent, to those of you who are LGBT, Q plus, happy Pride Month. We see you. We are proud of you. We are glad that you are here. And keep moving forward, guys and gals, and our non-binary friends. We are very, very proud of you. You're beautiful, magnificent, just majestic creatures. Keep doing you. The world is going to get shitty at times, but remember just to hold yourself up and walk. Because out of all the millions of sperm cells, you're the one that came out, and you are the best version of you, and you are doing the best you can with what you have presented to you. Doesn't matter what you grew up in. Doesn't matter what your past was like. It only matters what you do with your future and your present. So, moving on from there. The last couple of days have been really kind of just a kick in the head for me. Been super depressed lately, like to the point where it's been concerning. I have probably spent the last 4.5 days in bed, like on and off. I'll get up and I'll go do something, or I'll have to leave the house for a minute to go to the store, but the second I come back home, I'm like right back in bed and just tired and groggy and feeling like crap. Yesterday I forced myself to go for a walk, and I came home and I was in bed for the whole rest of the day after that. Like I said, I did get up and do a few things here and there, and then last night I had a horrible night's sleep. I was up and down all night long having to go to the restroom, but that was my own fault. I drank a half a gallon of hibiscus tea because, well, I have no self-control. So, yeah. Excuse me. And so, on top of all that, my blood sugar decided to drop last. So, not only was I dealing with the high blood or the low blood sugars and having to get up and go to the bathroom every 17 seconds, but yeah, so I just didn't get a very good sleep last night. And my allergies, I've never had allergies before, but you know, hey, being 40, seems like I got them now, and there's all kinds of things in bloom here in the beautiful, wonderful state of Washington. So that's been fun. My eyes have been itching so bad, I just like want to pluck them out and scrape them on like steel wool or something and put them back in my face. And I have sneezed more in the last 3 weeks than I think I've sneezed in my entire fucking life. Now, don't get me wrong, I love to sneeze. Like, that's the one bodily function I absolutely freaking love to do. But, you know, in today's climate with coronavirus and all this other stuff, you sneeze or you cough and people are like, ah! Like, shut the fuck up, you know? Get over yourselves. Thankfully, here in the state of Washington, stuff is starting to relax and go back to normal. If you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you can shop without a face covering on and all that other stuff, and they're not allowed to like ask you about it. So that's kind of cool. And I will admit, I'm not fully vaccinated. And there has been a couple of times that I have walked through a store without my mask on, just because I'm going through these fuckers at an alarming rate. For those of you who don't know, this is an asthma inhaler. I'm a big dude. I have a little bit of asthma going on because I'm a big dude. And my mask restricts my breathing, and breathing in hot, moist air causes inflammation, which causes me to not have or be able to breathe. So I had to pull out one of these. Since March, I've gone through 4 of these. Yeah. I actually had to get my doctor to prescribe like 3 extra last year because I went through them so much. So depending on what my breathing is like, depends on if I wear a mask at the store or not. And I know I'm putting myself at risk for the other people who may not be vaccinated, but I also believe that I had it last year, back in early February. And, I think I told you that story about how I got this advanced viral head cold and had all the COVID tests and stuff done, and then they redacted that information from my medical charts and this, that, and the other thing. Well, so... And there's been a couple of times last year and like the beginning of this year where I felt like I was getting really, really sick again. And I have a long-standing open prescription basically for a Z-Pak, which is azithromycin. And it's like a hardcore kick-your-ass antibiotic. And I have a standing prescription from November to March of every year, because that's typically the time period that I get sick, is late early winter to early spring. And so I started feeling that tickle in the back of my throat, started feeling like really groggy and crappy. And so for 3-4 days, I started taking my elderberry elixir that I make. I started taking my fermented honey garlic elixir that I make, and I started taking a bunch of different vitamins and stuff like that. Burned sage, I smoked sage, did all the things that I had to do, and got myself better. So, it's just kind of interesting how no one has had the flu in the last year and a half, but everyone has had coronavirus or something like that. I don't know. Enough of that. So yeah. So today being Saturday, and the fact that I have no 90 no to my name right now, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I think what I am going to do is work on my websites a little bit, because there's one that I'm still building, and then there's 1 or 2 that I need to update, and then I'm going to work on updating the blog. And I'm thinking very seriously about Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, of doing a live session on Facebook or on Zoom. So if you guys are interested in doing that with me, put it in the comment section down below. And also, I hope y'all are doing well, because the last couple of videos have been really quiet in the comment section. So, if I'm talking about stuff that's just not interesting to you, by all means, let me know. Give me a show topic or something like that, and I'll cover it to the best of my ability. Yeah. And then also sometime this week, I think I'm going to go through and recatalog all of my Funko Pop and make sure that they're all into my database and all that other fun stuff. And that is a huge, huge daunting task. I've actually been putting it off for about a month now. It's not something that needs to be done. It's just something I want to do. So again, it may or may not happen. I pretty much have a good idea of what I have and what I don't have, but yeah, it would still be nice to have it completely cataloged. So Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here now, but like as always, thank you for watching this far in. Like, share, subscribe, and thumb up the video and hit the little bell notification icon. Questions, comments, concerns down below. Links to all of my social media and Patreon account is there. And as always, thank you, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.